We're in Evansburg State Park doing the 4-mile skippack loop trail. There's a lot of these vernal pools in this park, soon to be filled with the sound of tiny peepers, frogs that appear in early spring. That's when you know spring is here. So apparently the local Native Americans named this creek skippack, as it translates to a stagnant pool of water. Kind of disrespectful to the creek, honestly. I mean, it's no mighty Wissahickon, but still. Oh, there's a Canada goose in the water. Looks like this section was washed away at some point, so they reinforced it with stone blocks, because I don't remember this being here before. The dog's getting hot already in the first mile. Luckily we have brought his carrying bag, so I have to admit the locals did a good job naming this creek, at least at this point. This is where the trail kind of goes up the side of this gorge and into a patch of evergreens. Some nice views of the creek from here. I think my wife used to be a mountain goat at some point, and this is her way of giving my heart some exercise through terror.
I'm gonna go down to that tree.
No, please, no.
Why not?
I guess we do have health insurance, so. Are you serious?
Yeah, why not?
Because that ground is slippery.
Well, you take him. I'll go down. I'll be fine.
I won't be fine
Here.
watching you go.
You take him.
All right. My wife is performing feats of, I want to say stupidity, but it's probably strength. think she just likes to show off because of my fear of heights and death. She made it. The dog is wondering what she's doing. I don't know, man. You'll need to ask her yourself.
You're gonna have to hold this open.
It's time to put the dog in the bag because he's getting exhausted.
Here, hush.
Oh.
Andy, come.
Come.
Here. Come here, baby.
He does not like being in a bag. All right, ready to go. So just judging from the geography of this place and the shape of this rock formation, my speculation is that this used to be a quarry from which they carved out this rock, this Pennsylvania sandstone. And usually when you see these formations on a trail next to a creek, it means that they use that rock to build a dam, and again in this case that seems to be somewhat makes sense because the creek is filled with these weirdly rectangular pieces of stone, and the water seems to be a bit faster here, no longer a stagnant pool, which means there was probably a dam here that fed water to a mill of some kind. Pennsylvania in the 1800s and early 1900s was all these creeks were basically industrial centers. They were dammed at numerous places and operated a lot of mills which either were used to grind flour or saw wood, sometimes even used to power blast furnaces for manufacturing iron equipment. We are passing under a fallen tree that someone has named, put in the effort to actually engrave these words on it and call it a magnificent underpass. Bravo, sir, bravo. Going down to the river again. Yeah, it's like a deliberate slope made for some purpose.
I know. You agree?
Yeah, see, again we have a lot of these rectangular blocks that don't look like the work of Mother Nature.
I don't know. These might be just the Pennsylvania bedrock, you know, like this is just naturally how it. The ones back there were perfectly rectangular.
Well, I say that because see that house right there? That might have been a mill.
Yeah, so maybe there was a
Yeah.
bridge here. It would make sense with the path being that way.
And it seems like the creek kind of widens at this point, which means it might have served.
Maybe the bridge went over there.
Yeah. Oh, you mean maybe there was a bridge here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible as well.
Hi.
Evansburg used to be a German settlement back in the day, and even though it's now basically entirely forested or meadowed, if that's a word, it's oh, there goes the pileated woodpecker. Anyway, so it's full of ruins like these that either used to be homesteads or mills. If it's next to the creek, it's more likely gonna be using the hydropower of the creek for some purpose. Usually all that's left of these structures is the foundation and the fireplace, or maybe this used to be a forge, judging by the size of it. Yeah, this is pretty big. What do you think? This could be a forge, furnace?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where, yeah, so that's also a fireplace. I don't know if that belongs to this. Yeah, I guess it's the top block that fell off, right? Yeah, we've discussed coming here with a metal detector and trying our luck, but number one, not sure if it's legal, or, and number two, we might find so much metal that it's just impossible to sift through it.
We'd have to sleep here.
Sleep
Here's,
here?
Look.
Yeah. What is that?
It's an old
Ceramic?
It's an old ceramic conductor.
Yeah, it's funny how we keep finding them literally everywhere.
It's an old piece of land.
We should just carry a trowel with us wherever we go.
We were for a while, and then we stopped. Give me a stick.
Yeah, if that root has grown over it, it must be really old. Cool. Almost there. Oh, what is that? That's not a conductor.
Cleveland. Muster Roll, Cleveland.
So apparently we found this milk glass container on which it says Muster Roll, Cleveland, which apparently was a company that manufactured medication for relieving chest congestion and sore throats. It started in 1905 and it was acquired in 1956 by a different company. So this container is at least 70 years old.
You can see it stood like this because it has a screw top that would have been metal.
And it seems people are selling these antique Muster Roll containers on the internet.
Well, the mint condition ones.
Mint condition ones, but well.
But this is a good find.
Yep.
We'll see.
We seem to have found a nice spot.
That's why he's waiting so patiently, because he's getting this.
Oh.
Hey. We were wondering why he was waiting so patiently.
There he goes.
See this guy somewhere else.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, where have we seen them
Yeah,
before?
it was that trail. It's a man's name. Zachary or...
Zacharias Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him.
It's funny. We've seen this dog and his dad before on a different trail where the
Yeah, 'cause
dog did
remember he
the
was limping.
exact same thing. With the show. Oh.
Wasn't worth it. There's people way up there.
Yeah. This is where the trail joins the road for a while. What the hell happened to this bridge? Look at this.
Holy
Is it
shit,
closed?
This is from the flood.
Closed to all vehicles. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Flood just washed away.
Look at it. It just
Asphalt.
picked up the asphalt.
I'm glad it didn't wash away the bridge itself. That's insane. But well, I think pedestrians should be allowed here. This is where the first half of the loop ends, where we have to cross the Skippack Creek and get to the other side and loop back. I hope I just don't fall in.
I think we should probably just leave it, tarmac off next time.
I didn't even know vehicles were allowed on this bridge. Some nice greenery coming up on the banks. It's nice to see spring here.
That house is abandoned. God.
Yeah. So we have these beautiful old houses by the creek.
And look at the roof isn't even in bad shape.
It might not be abandoned. There's a TV antenna on the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, next to us what might be a mill race. So when you dam up the creek, then you basically dig up this canal that allows the water to flow downstream to your mill. And that water eventually operates your water wheel that grinds up, that powers the grindstones or the bellows that power the blast furnace or whatever. So yeah, this, if you see this kind of a formation on your trail right next to a creek, it's usually a mill race, which means there used to be a dam around these parts, and also you might see the foundations of a mill or even the actual mill itself, because there are quite a few of them still preserved in this area. Yeah, this was definitely a mill race. See?
Yeah. They're all over Pennsylvania. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun to find them on trails. No, this one. So we seem to have a sign here that, oh, there's another mill here. So there's a mill that way and this way. Yeah, so let's go check out this one. Maybe this is the one that actually was being powered by this race. Wonder if it's actually this house right here.
Well, yeah, because that house is old enough.
Dog's doing well now. He was squirmy before. He's quieted down and starting to enjoy the journey. We have to put him in a backpack after he gets exhausted, because we've had bad experiences when he gets dehydrated or exhausted, and then in the evening he gets this thing called a reverse sneeze, which is kind of a scary thing to behold if you don't know what it is. It feels like the dog is choking on something and trying to cough up something. Or the first time we actually encountered this was after a hike, and we didn't know what the hell it was, and we had to rush him to an ER, and they had to take care of my panic as well. More than him, because
Best way to go is under.
yeah,
Or you can try climbing
I can
over.
go under. You go first. Yeah, so
This might be the best way. So go under that first one.
alright. My wife is trying to find a way from under these logs. She's doing something I'm clearly not going to be able to do. So
Well, you
this
have
is
to worry about the height of him.
where we part, my dear.
Going over.
Okay, hold on. Let me just turn this off. Alright, so we made it through. I had to.
Guarantee if you took yoga, your balance would get better. Get more
I don't want yoga, I want glutes.
What?
I want glutes. I don't want yoga.
Yoga can be pretty intense.
Well, we made it through the log jam. I had to.
Over there, that ridge.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna. Might just be the road. Yeah, I had to crawl underneath the logs and tore my jeans in the process.
Catch 'em.
Yeah, it is a road. I think we are at the park office. I was promised a mill though. There's another trail that goes in there, but then we would be getting out of the loop. Let's just follow this. Yes, we are back on the main trail now. We're pretty high up now on the side of the gorge. Going back down. Andy, come.
Come on. So, are you a water dog now? What's this over here? Oh, this water dog. Oh, look at that. Come. Come.
Oh. Well, we've discovered another nice water access here.
Cute little bridge, little walkway.
That's cool. Little stream joining the skippack. Yeah, the beds of all the creeks in this area are made of this reddish brown rock called Pennsylvania brownstone. It used to be a really popular material to build with, so all the area, the old farmhouses and cottages in this area have been built with this rock. So
Even some brownstones in New York City.
yeah, it used to be quarried and sent to Philadelphia, New York, even Florida for that matter. And there are a lot of brownstone houses in these cities and states. Yeah, those are rapids. That's not a stagnant pool of water. That's worse than calling sleepy Joe Biden. Well, we seem to have hit a snag here. Not sure if I'm gonna trust my life with this bridge. Oh, you can just go down here as well. Oh, okay. All right. An interesting thing about east-west gorges in the northeast is the south-facing side, which is directly in front of us. The north-facing side, which is in front of us, gets very little sun all year. So it has its own micro ecosystem, which is mostly evergreens. As you can see, the snow hasn't even disappeared from this side of the river. Whereas on this side, which is the south-facing side, it's all deciduous trees because it's much warmer throughout the year, as it's always getting the sun, and has literally a completely different ecosystem from the north-facing side. So if ever you if you're ever hiking along an east-west gorge, keep a lookout for this phenomena. In fact, the Delaware River has such a pronounced manifestation of this that the left bank of the Delaware in Pennsylvania shows some ecosystems that can actually only be found in the European Alps. So yeah, fun stuff. They have a separate hiking trail versus a horse trail in this area because I guess it's kind of a bother walking through horse poop. Well, at least for humans. My dog enjoys it. He likes sniffing it. So we are finding a bunch of golf balls on this section of the trail because it's sandy in this area, and I don't know, people want to practice getting out of a sand trap. They're all over the place. So innovative. This place just has a whole different feel during the sunset, especially when you're on the trail up there and the light hits those evergreens.
There's stuff growing in the water.
There's the Pennsylvania brownstone on the side, and these rocks as well. She's found snowdrops and now she's gonna have a conversation with them.
He's so cute. It's a good spot. Look, it's the sun all day long. Won't it pretty? Aw, they're one of the first flowers to come up.
I wonder if we can find some crocuses next.
Daffodils, I've seen daffodils.
You saw them today?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't bloomed yet.
Oh. Well, spring is here. So this is a typical Pennsylvania stucco farmhouse. You're gonna find a lot of them in this area, as it used to be farmland basically in the 19th century. It's in pretty good shape. The interesting part is this little, I don't believe, can we just walk over there for a moment?
Sure.
Yeah. This little structure here, it's called a spring house, and every Pennsylvania farmhouse has this structure somewhere on their property, usually downstream. So you can see it's literally built on a stream. There's a stream that's coming out of the ground, and they built this house on top of it. And what it is it's basically a very energy efficient refrigerator that every single farm in Pennsylvania had, where they stored their farm produce, meats, eggs. Yeah, so because the water coming out of the ground is always cold, it kind of creates this cooling effect on everything in the spring house. The floor of the spring house is usually basically a pool of water, and then there are shelves inside the house on which you can keep the food. One of my hobbies is, whenever I see one of these farmhouses that are obviously pretty old, look around to see if you can spot their resident spring house. Yeah, it's a nice looking house. Yeah.
All the way around it, I think,
Yeah, I feel like
to keep you
it's oh, that's a side kitchen. See that building on the side? That's probably the huge oven next to it.
Right.
So these old farmhouses had an adjacent kitchen, and next to that kitchen on the left they had a big oven where you could basically, have fire going and make bread, or just put a big pot of stew on top of a fire.
And they kept them separate from the house just in case the kitchen caught on fire.
Right.
It would just burn down the kitchen and not the whole house.
Yeah, houses burning down was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Looks like we are going through a tunnel of some sort and about to reach the end of this loop. Final stretch of the loop, we're crossing this bridge. It's actually quite a historic bridge. The dog has started to shiver because it's kind of chilly with the wind. Might also be a bit anxious because he's not used to being stuffed into a backpack for prolonged periods of time, but hopefully he'll get used to it. Well, that's our first big hike of the spring. 5 miles, 3.5 hours, many breaks. All right, onward and upward.